Now we go on to fractions, and multiplying fractions is the easiest function you can do with a fraction. It's easier than adding, subtracting, or dividing. So if I take just any two fractions, I'm going to go for minus 2 over 5, and I want to multiply that by, let's say, 4 over 9. All I need to do with multiplying fractions is to multiply the two numerators, that's the two tops, and multiply the two denominators, the two bottoms. So in this case, it's 2 times 4 on the top. 2 times 4 is 8, and it's negative 2 times 4, so it's negative 8. And then 5 times 9 is 45. So my final answer is negative 8 over 45. I can't simplify that, so I just leave it in that state. Of course, you might get one that involves or will involve some simplification. So let's look at something like this. If I had 20 over 9, and I'm multiplying that by 12 over 50. Now I know that that would be 20 times 12 on the top, and I know it would be 9 times 50 on the bottom. But that's not going to be very easy to work out. So I'm actually going to do it differently. So let me just remove these. And let's look at the numbers I've got here. Now I know that 20 can be written as 10 times 2. It can also be written as 5 times 4. But that can be 10 times 2. And 50 would be 5 times 10. So there's a 10 that's common, a common factor for both of these. Looking at the 9 and the 12, 3 is a common factor because 9 is 3 times 3 and 12 is 3 times 4. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to rewrite my multiplication. And instead of putting 20, I'm going to put 10 times 2. And instead of putting 12, I'm going to put 3 times 4. Instead of 9, I'm going to put 3 times 3. And instead of 50, I'm going to put 5 times 10. Now what happens here is I can cancel. One of the 3's will cancel a 3 there. If you see something on the top and on the bottom, you can cross them off. I've got a 10 here and a 10 here, so they will also cancel. Now nothing else is common there. There's nothing else is going to cancel between 2 and 4 and 3 and 5. So what I have on the top here, I have 2 times 4. Well, 2 times 4 is clearly going to be 8. And on the numerator, I'm left with 3 times 5, and 3 times 5 is 15. So my answer is 8/15, and it's already simplified. I do not have to do anything else to it. One point of note. If you end up crossing everything off of either the numerator or of the denominator, don't put 0. You would need to put 1. Because remember, what we're doing here is, although we're crossing both of the 3's off, what we're really saying is, well, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so therefore it's not there. Okay, so just be careful with that. You're never left with 0 when you're using this method for simplifying fractions. Now, dividing is almost as simple as multiplying fractions. And if you remember the lesson we did on this, just remember the bucket. Okay, and it's KCF. Not KFC, KCF. And what it is it's a mixed up Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's the thing to remember when you're doing dividing with fractions. So let's do a sum. Let's do 7 over, 20 divided by, we'll do 4 over 3. Now, the KCF stands for this. Keep, change, flip. Don't get it wrong. What it means is this. We keep the first fraction. The first thing when dividing fractions never, ever changes. That stays the same. The change is the symbol. The symbol changes from divide to multiply. The flip is you flip the second fraction upside down. So instead of 4 over 3, we get 3 over 4. What we've created is a multiplication. And once we have the multiplication, we know how to do that. We multiply the two numerators. We multiply the two denominators. And in this case, we're going to end up with 7 times 3 is 21. And 20 times 4 is 80. It doesn't simplify. That's the solution. Just to go through it again. It's keep, change, flip. It's like a KFC that's gone a little bit wrong. It's a bit messed up. We keep the first thing. Here it's a fraction, so we leave it the same. Do not change that. You change the sign, though, from divide to multiply. And you flip the second fraction upside down. You've created a multiplication, and then it's just the same as all multiplications of fractions. Multiply the tops, and multiply the bottoms, okay? And that's how these ones work. Finally, you can get word problems involving fractions, and what you need to do with these is really just interpret them properly. Read them through in your head so you understand what is happening and what function they're looking at. So we could have something like this. We could say that Dave, whoever he is, has a pizza and eats, he's not very hungry, so he eats 2/5 of the pizza on, let's say, Monday, okay? Then the next day, so on Tuesday, his sister eats 3/4 of the remaining pizza. She likes cold pizza. I don't know why. How much pizza does she eat? That could be a question, typical sort of maths question. So we've got Dave eats 2/5 of the pizza. His sister eats 3/4 of the remaining pizza. That's the important thing. So let's just highlight these bits here. So we have 2/5. We have 3/4 of the remaining pizza, and we want to know how much does she eat in total. So what is the question here? What is the maths there? Well, if Dave eats 2/5, how much is left? Because we need to know how much is left because his sister eats 3/4 of what is left. So the remaining pizza will be equal to 1 minus the 2/5. That's what he eats. Well, that's easy because that's 3/5. And she eats 3/4 of the remaining pizza. So 3/4 of 3/5. And in mathematics, when you're looking at a fraction of something, it's multiplication. So she wants 3/4 of 3/5. So 3/4 of 3/5 is 3/4 multiplied by 3/5. And that then is just a multiplication sum. So we've got 3 times 3 on the numerators. We've got 4 times 5 on the denominator. And that's going to give us 9/20. So 9/20 is what she eats. We should have given her a name, really. Let's call her Daisy. Okay? Don't know why. She deserves a name rather than just she. So that's how much pizza she eats. Daisy eats. Okay? It's 9/20 of the entire pizza. The thing to remember there is to highlight the key bits of information in a question and actually try and understand what are we trying to do. If it's a fraction of something, make sure you have the correct amount of that thing. In this case, it's not 3/4 of 2/5, it's 3/4 of 3/5 because that's what Dave has not eaten. Finally, just want to say don't panic about the assessment. Go through these questions, go through your notes on Google Classroom. If you're still struggling with one of the concepts, just drop me an email or drop me a note on Classroom and I will try and get back to you and give you any tips and help that you might need. Other than that, good luck. See you soon.